final press conference of the season here today, and one of the more interesting ones I think I've attended here at CU, definitely when it comes to Coach Prime. Pretty candid, I'd say, and pretty illuminating. I think we learned quite a bit. I mean, the big headliner, obviously Julian Lewis. Coach Prime announced it was his decision that he is going to redshirt Julian this week. Kaidon Salter to start versus Kansas State. We've talked a lot about this. I almost didn't think that this would come back again, but here it is. So Julian is going to be a redshirt freshman next season.
That's kind of dope. And I think that's the right decision, not only for Julian, his future, his development, but for this Colorado football program as well, right? He still has all 4 years of eligibility. And it just wouldn't have made a ton of sense at this point in the year for a meaningless season finale for Julian to essentially burn an entire year of eligibility to play in this final, once again, meaningless football game.
Completely meaningless. You're 17.5-point underdogs, too.
Exactly right. So it really wouldn't have made much sense to have him out there knowing the circumstances, knowing the context of what you might lose in terms of an entire year of eligibility. Obviously, Coach Prime alluded to it, right? He was like, I'm not going to say Julian's happy, which you honestly love to hear. As a fan, to know as a coach and whatnot that dude just wants to play football. And if it was up to him, I bet Julian would be starting and playing on Saturday. But this, like I said, this is in the best interest of him, his future, his development, and obviously for the Colorado football program as well. And I think it's kind of cool too from a sentimental perspective that Kaidon's going to be able to start his final collegiate game and get another opportunity to go out there. So that's cool in itself.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it is still, more valuable to have Julian get live reps, but I kind of get it. I mean, this is a lost game, really.
Yeah, right.
This is like the most, what's the word? I mean, just a week lost in time for this football program.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, everyone's trying to get to the end, to the offseason. Coach Prime, a lot of talk about what's to come in the portal, spoke about the recruiting class. But yeah, it makes sense just given everything that's happened over the last month and a half or so as well. Speaking about the portal, Coach Prime basically just said trenches and defense. He really wasn't trying to share too much, I think, but just the way that he said the little things he did, they are going to be very defense heavy in the portal, it sounds like, coming up in, about a month or so.
And he kind of talked about it when, I forget what question, but it was when he and I were going back and forth, where I was asking about the core, and he was like, I'm talking really about the defense right now. And from that, it made it sound like he's happy kind of with the pieces that they have on offense. He feels like they have enough. It's the defensive side of the ball where they have to really make some headway in the transfer portal, as soon as it opens. And that's, like I said, what he alluded to. He said a lot of our work's going to be done on the defensive side of the ball, particularly up front in the trenches, because as we know, not only injuries, but there was just some flat-out misses in the transfer portal on the defensive side of the ball, particularly on the defensive line. So we talked about a lot of those core players. Coach Prime even name-dropped a few of them, right? He said Chauncey Gooden's going to be a pro. He said these receivers are like that. Juju is like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he likes the running backs, even probably getting a couple back, maybe getting Trackhawk, Simeon Price, maybe not Simeon, but Trackhawk for sure back next year. The core pieces are there, particularly on offense, but there has to be some legitimate difference makers added to this roster via the transfer portals. A few more Toffee Byards, to be exact.
Stay tuned. About a month until then. On signing day, obviously coming up next week, Coach Prime said he wants 15 to 17 kids. You're at what, 10 now?
10.
He wants about 5 more kids in the next week. I mean, you had a nice crop of visitors, flip targets, who were visiting last weekend for the game. So never say never. And I mean, there's still, a week in recruiting could be a lifetime, honestly.
It's true. It's true.
So we'll see what happens here moving forward. Talking about that as well, though, he brought this up, and it's true. I mean, if you bring in 30 kids, how many are here in 2 years? And if they're not playing by that second spring, which is what he said, like, they're probably gone anyways.
Yep.
So it's just, a lot of people Lane Kiffin was talking about this, I think, over the weekend, how, Colorado gets a lot of criticism for, bringing in mercenaries and, quote mercenaries, and just not really focusing on like the traditional aspect of college football. Lane Kiffin's talking about how that's just done. It's over with. It's a different era of college football.
It's a different generation of kids.
And look, Coach Prime kind of recognized it from the get-go, but he's clearly made some mistakes in learning along the way, as he candidly said today as well. So, I mean, look, I know another weird lost week, but man, lots of changes are coming here very soon.
The philosophy ain't changing. If that's the biggest takeaway from, I think, Coach Prime's talking points today about the transfer portal, about recruiting high school, is that the philosophy ain't changing.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't work this year, and to be clear, it didn't work this year. There were misses that contributed to it not working this year. But last year it worked.
Yeah.
And to go away from it after a year of it not working, after you just seeing it work the year prior, wouldn't make sense. So I think that was what Coach Prime saying today. Like, listen, we're going to go after the 15 to 17 guys in the high school ranks, and we're still going to try to get 25, 30 transfers in here because that's just the way to go about it in today's college football, especially if you're Coach Prime, where you have the pull, especially for these older guys who are looking for one more year of eligibility or 2 years left, and they're trying to get to the league. They know that Colorado, even in the 3-9 season, they're going to be on national TV. You know what I'm saying? And that is appealing. And it's just about getting, I think, the character part of it right.
I mean, clearly.
It's about getting the character part of it because it's not just about big school, small school, because we've seen cases where big school or small school work. We've seen cases of big school, small school, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's not the way to really judge it. It's about getting the character to match the football player. And you just got to hit more times than you miss on that part of things. And I think there were a lot of valuable lessons learned in those misses this offseason. And we'll see if they learn from it.
Yeah, again, kind of a weird week. A season finale on Saturday, but man, it's really the calm before the storm. Just stay ready, man. It's about to be very fun.